to invite your friends and your not so friendly friends and tell them to join us. Maiyegun is live. I do not know how much of their BS Nigeria media fed you with today. How many social media reactions followed what happened in court today? But on Maiyegun's Diary Political, you stand a chance of not suffering a fool twice. That is why this place is called the Diary. We keep record, and it is also very difficult for the Templars here to fall for this, what they call the Stockholm Syndrome. The trial of Mazi, Nnamdi Kanu, is a complete misfire, which Nigeria government and those interested parties have currently reached a deadlock. But shamefully, they are unable to admit and let him go. They have, cooked so many narratives in your media. And I don't think whatever I say will change the mind of some of you. And that is why I'll keep reminding you that from my own observation, Nnamdi Kanu doesn't need to prove anything anymore in your court. Whatever is playing out in that Nigerian court right now is a pure mockery. The mockery of your judicial system that they have abused again and again. Nnamdi Kanu was discharged and acquitted by the Nigerian appeal courts, a judgment that ordinarily should be immediately. Nnamdi Kanu was not supposed to spend another hour in that their court or custody when the court freed him in 2022. But the same people that rejected their own court's judgment approached the Supreme Court to get a stay of execution, which means the release of Nnamdi Kanu will no longer be, the judgment that released him will no longer be honored until the Supreme Court decides. Now, the Supreme Court that was supposed to be unbiased as the highest court in the land, who was supposed to at least interpret the law as it should be, also voted because of this vested interest. What is the sin of Nnamdi Kanu? A man that saw tomorrow, a supposed Nostradamus of this generation, a man that many actually love to hate. He saw whatever it is today that is now dividing and tearing Nigeria apart. And when he was screaming, they said he was an alarmist. In fact, they labeled him an anarchist. In all of that, in the last 10 years, Nnamdi Kanu has been in their detention in and out. However, when the Supreme Court said they should go and retry Nnamdi Kanu, they made one very huge mistake. Because primarily, right, by the state of how Nnamdi Kanu got kidnapped from Kenya back to Nigeria, that arrangement in the face of the law has nullified every other step that Nigeria might want to take. And an average judge in Nigeria is expected to know this, just like an average lawyer. But hey, they ignored all of that. They decided to recook, a new charges, 7 new charges. Now, for a reminder, those of you who are interested in this, okay, just for a reminder, when they charged Nnamdi Kanu to their court in 2021, when they kidnapped him from Kenya, they charged him for treason. That is attempting to break up Nigeria or to usurp the federal government power of Nigeria. They accused him of calling Boko Haram a clone, Jubril al-Sudani, and so many other nonsense they put in there. Now, when it was time for them to present their evidence, they were they're like downloading and cutting Nnamdi Kanu's broadcast online. You would expect them to have at least presented those who would claim that Nnamdi Kanu gave them this and gave them that or ordered them to do this or that. They didn't present any of that. The argument of Nnamdi Kanu in the face of their court at the time, the appeal court, was the same. Listen, I don't know the script you are acting, but if you are actually really a judge, if you guys are indeed lawyers, and you are accustomed to your own laws. This whole thing is a charade. You are supposed to advise your government, right? That it is a waste of time, mockery of the judiciary. But I am so ashamed of you that you are all playing along. You're all presenting this to the public like you actually have a case. So the appeal court dismissed the case, discharged, and acquitted Nnamdi Kanu in 2022 based on this. So they went to Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, okay, yeah, they should go and retry it. But however, the revocation of Nnamdi Kanu's bail, right, was wrong. Meaning, even if Nnamdi Kanu is going to go to any court in Nigeria today, Nnamdi Kanu should be going to the court from his house. Mind you, this was the judgment of their own appeal court that Nnamdi Kanu had no case to answer. But if their Supreme Court says, yeah, he's got a case to answer, but revocation of his bail was wrong because they attempted to kill him. He did not jump bail. So what that means is that if Nnamdi Kanu should be in any court case today, like they are holding Showore down there, right? Nnamdi Kanu will be going to court from his house, not from any DSS detention or anywhere he's being tortured. No. He would have access to his own legal team. They will advise him accordingly. He will put up a defense as he should be. But guess what? They denied him access to his own case file. They didn't allow his own lawyers to bring anything to his detention center. If he's having conversation with his own legal team, the DSS will be hanging around and they cannot jot anything down. They can't write anything down and say, okay, please, I want you to do this as my legal team. They couldn't. This was this game all this while, right? So when Nnamdi Kanu now said, I'm going to defend myself, right? I'm going to defend myself. And based on what you have actually shown me so far in this court, because A, you are no longer charging me for treason. You are now charging me for terrorism, which is completely different from what you took to your Supreme Court. So this is like a new thing. You have deviated from everything that your Supreme Court said. Okay, fine. If that should be the case, can I see my case file? Because at least I'm going to defend myself. And I want to see what this is all about. Because I've seen this whole drama in this new retrial, right? So when they gave Nnamdi Kanu, finally gave him his case file, he read through it and he was like, damn. So it's true. Like these guys are so dumb that they want to either jail him or kill him illegally. It doesn't matter. They will get a judge to pronounce that. So Nnamdi Kanu has nothing to prove to them. And he said, listen, I would have called my witnesses based on what you have presented as your evidence so far in this court. That's why he said he would call over 20 people, remember, as witnesses, right? But wait, are you guys so dumb that you are charging me for treason based on a repealed law, your own law that is no longer effective? What does your law say about that? That if you are charging somebody, it must be relative to an existing law, because that law will tell you what exactly will be your punishment if you are convicted. Yeah, they will tell you that under section so and so, it says if you are convicted of these charges under this law, under this section, you will serve so years in jail or you have to die. Well, how could you be charging me in 2025 for treason based on the law? Charging me for terrorism in 2025 based on the law that you have repealed. 2013 law. That was like 12 years ago. Like you've repealed it. On the new one you put in place. And the time you said I committed a crime that you are charging me for means even your new law can't try me. The old law that you are presenting to this court, that this judge is saying, like, Judge, do you know about this? They are trying me in your court. Like, if you convict me now, what will be my punishment? Do you understand? Like, okay, fine. If you find me guilty of anything that these guys want you to find me guilty of, right? What will be my punishment? And under what law would you say, I hereby find you, Nnamdi Kanu, guilty? And you are hereby sentenced to under what law? This is the base of what happened in court today. And on this program this evening, I will do my best and take you through every section of that particular law. I'll leave you with the rest. And like I said, the argument for whether Nnamdi Kanu is guilty of their charges or not, right, it's not going to be determined here. Here is just to expose to you that sometimes when they try to make things that, when they want to twist things for you, right, all you need to do is to pay attention. Their media is so very much instrumental in all of this. Even their own media would not actually report the true news. Today, Nnamdi Kanu burst out. Nnamdi Kanu exploded. Nnamdi Kanu screamed in court. It's all about the headlines. No substance, no nothing. And of course, that's where we're going to start from this evening, right? Meanwhile, I think we should start like this. Before the court session today, right, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu writes the President of the United States, Donald Trump, to notify him of what is going on and what they are doing to him in Nigeria. And a very quick one, brethren, just a quick one. The woman who is believed to be the chief of staff to Donald Trump, right, also happened to be the former IPOB United States American lobbyist. They have been those who have been working to counter all of the lies, the propagandas, and even the money Nigeria was spending to get America Congress to prescribe IPOB. Now, the lady is the chief of staff to Trump right now, and Tinubu's government, the APC, they are also screaming that the redesignation of Nigeria as a country of particular interest has a very massive input of the IPOB on this. A different conversation, by the way. So yeah, Nnamdi Kanu wrote Trump, and I would like to read the contents because this is the base of our chat tonight. And to our new members on the Temple of Truth, please don't find this a little bit like too long or boring, okay? Maiyegun's Diary Political is mainly like, explanatory, like I could be repetitive until I feel like the message is passed, not like repetitive, all right? So the reason why you are watching this is to have a very much broader, like a broader kind of like, perspective of what is going on. So that when you see through their propagandas and where they are headed, you are never going to follow them. And it is very important, right? So here, I'll read the content out as fast as possible, and then I will go on again, right? Here, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, on his behalf by the Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, one of them, Aloy Jimako, on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's behalf. So he put it as that, Your Excellency, that is Donald J. Trump. I extend warm greetings to you in the name of the Judeo-Christian faith and values we both hold dear. As a practicing Jew and a believer in the Judeo-Christian heritage that shaped Western civilization, I was honored to attend your campaign event in Des Moines, Iowa, in January 2020. Nnamdi Kanu was there, truly. Your bold declaration on October 31st, 2025, that the United States is prepared to act militarily and court aid if Nigeria failed to protect its Christian population, has ignited hope in the hearts of millions who have been abandoned by the world. You have seen the truth. Christians in Nigeria face an existential threat. I write to you now to reveal that this genocide is not confined to the north. It has metastasized into the Igbo heartland, where Judeo-Christians are being systematically exterminated under the guise of counter-terrorism. I am Mazi Nnamdi Oku Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, a peaceful non-violent civil rights movements rooted in Judeo-Christian principles. Since 2015, I have survived 4 documented assassination attempts by the Nigerian state. On 20th June 2021, I was forcibly abducted from Kenya in an extraordinary rendition operation, an act that violated Kenya and international law, as condemned by a Kenyan High Court ruling, petition number E282 rather, of 2021. Despite this ruling, I was illegally transported to Nigeria and thrown into solitary detention in Abuja without a valid subsisting charge, and for the sole crime of defending my people's right to life, faith, and self-determination under international law. On 13th October 2022, the Court of Appeal in Abuja, the case number CA/ABJ/CR/CR/625/2022, discharged and acquitted me of all charges, ruling that my rendition was illegal, unconstitutional, and a gross violation of international law. The court ordered my immediate and unconditional release. Yet I remain in solitary detention over 1,596 days since my abduction. The Nigerian government defied its own judiciary, refusing to release me as court ordered. I was never released, so there was no rearrest, only continued unlawful imprisonment in blatant violation of constitutionally protected double jeopardy safeguard under Section 36, subsection 9 of the 1999 Constitution and Article 7, subsection 2 of the African Charter. The United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, opinion number 252022, declared my continued imprisonment arbitrary, unlawful, and politically motivated. This is not justice. This is state capture of the rule of law to silence a Judeo-Christian voice, a hidden genocide against Judeo-Christians in eastern Nigeria. The same extremist-backed forces you have condemned in the north, Boko Haram, ISWAP, and Fulani militias, operate with state complicity in the southeast and Igbo-speaking territories of Benue, Kogi, and Delta. But here, the Nigerian military itself is the primary perpetrator, shielded by a false narrative that blames victims. These atrocities are irrefutably documented. 1. Unkpo Biafra Heroes Day Massacre, 30th of May 2016. National High School Aba Massacre, 9th of February 2016. Operation Python Dance 2, 12th to 14th of September 2017. Obigbo Massacre, October 2020. Right? Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt Iguacha Trump Solidarity Rally, 20th January 2017. IPOB eyewitness accounts and local reports. Hundreds of Judeo-Christian supporters gunned down by soldiers under Islamist sympathetic command. They came to celebrate your inauguration. They were met with bullets. Now, the architect of these crimes, Lieutenant General Tuko Yusuf Buratai, former Chief of Army Staff, in 2021, President Buhari appointed him ambassador to Benin, granting him diplomatic immunity to evade ICC prosecution. This is state-sponsored impunity on genocidal scale. Weaponization of insecurity to demonize IPOB. Since my illegal rendition, Nigeria has, 1, declared IPOB terrorist organization despite zero evidence of violence, confirmed by U.S. State Department 2021, orchestrated unknown gunmen, attacks using state-backed militias, then blamed IPOB, killed over 2,000 Igbo youth